Well, how goes it, you beautiful souls? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I am so grateful that you decided to be here with me when you could be anywhere else in the world. But you want to be here with me listening to me ramble on about my thought process. Okay. So before I get started, let me just say that I made a video like 2 or 3 weeks ago that I just realized did not post. So now it looks like I haven't made a video in a longer time than what it has actually been, because I want y'all to know that I did put some content out there for y'all, right? But I'm gonna just say it wasn't meant to be, because since I've made that video, I have gotten a little more understanding. I've gotten a little more understanding on some things when it comes to healing, right? So I'm gonna ultimately end up remaking the video. Sorry, I was a little distracted just then. I'm listening to my man baby outside who's on a skateboard, who just got out of a cast from falling off the skateboard, breaking his wrist. And I really just don't want him on the skateboard. Anyway, I digress. So today I wanted to talk about challenge, and in the sense of when you challenge somebody beliefs, what are you challenging? For me, I'm never challenging your beliefs. Like, I'm never going to challenge nobody's belief. What I challenge is the belief that everybody has to do things exactly the way that you do them. They have to believe exactly how you believe. And if they don't, then they wrong. Who told you that? How can you definitively say somebody is wrong? It's impossible to definitively say that somebody is wrong in how they move and what they doing. Okay, you don't have anything to go by. What can you judge it by to say that it's wrong because you don't do it? Just because you don't do it don't mean that it's wrong, right? Like, nobody can definitively say what's right or wrong. I think universally we can say that to harm somebody intentionally is wrong. To intentionally harm somebody, I think we can say universally across the board, everybody agree you shouldn't intentionally harm nobody. Sorry, I tell y'all, life happens outside my door. Family just yelling, doing what they do. My bad. If y'all heard that. So, but um, other than to intentionally harm somebody, what else can you say is wrong? And even with the intentional harm, you can kind of put something on that too, because you might be defending something or somebody um, to stop them from being harmed, so then you cause harm. Okay, so even that kind of got its own little connotations, but y'all get the gist of what I'm saying. That is probably the one thing that we can agree on universally that is wrong. But to tell somebody the religion that they practice is wrong is actually kind of selfish, right? It's kind of selfish and self righteous for you to tell me because I don't believe in Jesus or your version of Jesus, I'm going to hell. How can you preach and teach that God is not a God of conflict or confusion, but then you preach and teach that God is intolerant of the choices that God put her for you to make? God gave you the options, God gave you the choices, God gave you free will, but you take other people's free will away from them because they don't believe the way that you believe. That is being a God of confusion. But y'all say that ain't what God is about. So how? Religion is essentially like language. Okay? If you think about it, it's language. We don't all speak the same language. You have people who do. You have groups and cultures of people who speak the same, but even in those cultures, sometimes the dialect is slightly different. They might have the same language, But the dialect in certain, I'm gonna just say, I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. I'm just say connotations of this word might be a little different. Kind of the same, but different. It has a slightly different meaning, right? So to tell somebody that the what they believe and the religions that they practice is wrong is basically telling them the language that you speaking is wrong. You can absolutely equate the same. You can equate those two, um, because nobody is exactly the same, right? Nothing and nobody in this world. You are a walking blueprint. Nothing in this world is like you. Similar, close, but no cigar, right? Like nothing is exactly like you. Nothing has like your fingerprint. Your whole being, excuse me, is nothing like the next person. Okay. The way that you see things, even though you might agree with somebody and their belief systems, y'all might agree, but you still don't view it exactly the way that they view it. I believe in Jesus. Do I believe that Jesus is God? I don't know. I don't know that I believe that. I believe that Jesus had reached a level of consciousness and awareness that a lot of people don't get to. People get there. That's why Jesus said there will be those that come after me that will do greater works than even me. Okay? Because with with advancement, or with life there comes advancements, right? And things or revealed, newer things are revealed. And this is why, if you still believe exactly the same way you believed when you were younger, you probably not learning, because other information comes along, new things are discovered that can um, alter. I don't want to say in enhance or devalue a belief. I don't want to say that. I want to say it just gives you more information that might allow you to reevaluate what you once believed. And so then it changes how you believe a certain thing. So if you believe exactly the same way that you did when you were younger, I question if you are really growing and learning and being open minded, even to different perspectives. Because with advancements in humanity comes a different level of awareness, a different level of knowledge. And am I saying that it's always right? Absolutely not. I'm not saying, because there are things that are legal that are not good for you. There are things that are legal that are probably kind of, it's questionable morally. Okay. So I'm not saying by any means that just because humanity advances that it should automatically change your belief system. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that because humans do, or new information is discovered, it changes the way things were once looked at. And I believe that's what Jesus meant when he said there will be those who come who will do greater works than me, because in his time is different from our time. And there's a lot more knowledge that has been put out there since Jesus' time. Okay. So that I was raised in a Christian home. I was raised with Christian values and beliefs, but I don't believe the way that those who were raised in that same um, religion as me believe anymore. I'm not a religious person. I don't view myself as a religious person. I'm more spiritual. I like to understand a little bit of everything, and so that I can relate to people. And really, aside from relating to them, well, it still falls under the category of relating, right? Because my goal is to never judge anybody. How can I judge you when I know that I am capable of some of the same things that you are capable of. How can I look down my nose on you? I might be doing something the exact, or I might be doing the same thing that you're doing, but I'm doing it in a different way. So just because I do it differently, don't make it better or worse than what you're doing. I just do it different. And it's the same way with religion. And that's why I challenge the belief that if people don't believe in Jesus, they dying and going to hell. That's selfish. It's selfish of you to tell people that a loving, caring God would tell people that he gave or she gave different speech or different language, that they have to believe exactly the way that this culture believes. Otherwise, y'all going to hell. Come on, man. Like, make it make sense. It don't, that don't make sense to me. It don't wrap with me. I don't understand how you can think that way, that, and try and force it down somebody's throat. Believe what you believe. That's all well and good. But can you imagine what life would be like if we were all exactly the same? What would be the point of life? What does your soul learn? What what value do you have to God if if everything is exactly the same, right? Like, your soul don't grow. There's no reason, no rhyme or reason. It don't make sense for everything to be exactly the same. That's herd mentality, group mentality. It's, we teach and preach people to people that diversity is good, right? In order for a business to advance, you need to have a different set of people who can understand maybe this culture, or they can understand this aspect of a thing, or they can understand that aspect of a thing. If everybody is exactly the same and they look the same, how are you advancing? How your company might be okay. It's okay. It might even be thriving, but it'll thrive more with diversity. It'll thrive more with a different perspective. Somebody who is different and don't think exactly the same way that you do, or see things exactly the same way that you do, can come in and help you tweak some things and make it better for you, and draw in this crowd or draw in that crowd. In church, in a lot of Christian churches, you have those who want to reach the youth, right? And for them to be able to reach the youth, they try to get somebody with a younger mindset than what they are, so that they can draw those people in. It doesn't mean that the older people can't draw the youth in, but really, can they relate? Can they relate to some of the things? Can I relate to the things that my 12-year-old do? No, not all the time. Can I relate to him? He's human. Absolutely, I can relate to him. But there are parts of his culture, because we are all a walking culture. There are parts of the 12-year-old culture that I don't understand. I just don't get it. So I'm not going to be able to draw in a whole lot of 12-year-olds, right? Because I don't really understand. So I'm going to need this other 12-year-old who kind of understands that culture to talk to these people and help me understand. It's the same way. It's the same way with life throughout every aspect of life. You need diversity. You need diversity in thought. You need diversity in people. You need that diversity. And to tell somebody that they have to do things exactly the way that you do them, otherwise they going to hell. Yeah, that's kind of selfish. It really is. It's selfish to say that. Um, and really, that was really all I had. Like, I don't really have a lot of metaphors to give. It was something that was bothering me, and it's funny because my cousin sent in a group chat about people being different, and it had been on my mind to make the video about um, challenging people's thought process that everybody has to believe exactly the same way that they do for a couple of weeks now, maybe a week or two. And so now I'm finally making it. And I don't really understand why people feel like you have to talk and be exactly the way that they are. If you really think of it in terms of language, we don't all speak the same language. So with us not all speaking the same language, naturally our gods are not going to be the same. It don't mean that it's not equivalent. So Jesus is the equivalent to Buddha to that culture. I'm not going to act like I know right off the top of my head right now what culture Buddha was in. I'm just not going to act like I can think of it off the top of my head. But the point is that to those people, he is the equivalent of Jesus. He is the one who reached a certain level of consciousness that a lot of people don't reach. He came to a let's just say a God consciousness, understanding certain things that a lot of people don't come to understand. And that's essentially what Jesus did. Jesus came to understand things in such a way that a lot of people don't come to understand it. That's why you have Christ consciousness. And to tell people just because they don't call, I'm going to just say they Messiah. Let's just use the word Messiah. Just because they don't call they Messiah Jesus doesn't make them wrong. It just means they have a different language. And in that language, they call they Messiah something different. Don't mean that it's not the same. There are many gods. And in the terms of God is all, but God is God to all. And because we don't all think, move, breathe, we don't do everything the same, that's what makes it many gods. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's many gods because there are many cultures, there are many people in this world, on this earth, and they don't all speak the same language. Okay? Some of them might be a similar language, still a little different. So that's why it's many gods. It's many gods because God is called many things by many different people in many different cultures. You are a walking culture. You have learned some things on your journey with you and God because you agreed to that journey with God and those lessons. So because you are a walking culture, God is different to you than what God is to somebody else. It don't mean that it's not the same God. It just means you have a different relationship. I talked to my cousin some years ago about the color purple, not the book or the movie, the actual color purple. Purple has many variations. You have lilac, you have lavender, you have violet. I think violet is, yeah, you got violet. All of these are in the family of purple. I understand lavender. You understand lilac. He understands violet. She understands pale purple. But at the end of the day, it's all purple. At the end of the day, it's all God. We just calling them something different because we are from a different place and time. Okay. So, in a nutshell, that's why I challenge the belief that people have to believe exactly the way that you do. Stop that. Like, they don't have to. They just don't. And stop telling people they're going to go to hell because they call their God by some other name. That's their language. But it don't mean it's not the same God that you got or the same God that protects and serves all. I'm just calling it a different thing. Okay? Like, that's really it. Um I'm sure it was more, but I done kind of lost my train of thought and I'm a little tired. But I really just been wanting to say that I'm going to make this other video and it's probably going to be just as short because it wasn't long when I first made it. I just got a little different understanding, okay? So I hope that helps. I hope that it opens the hearts and minds of somebody somewhere to understand things a little different, please feel free to like shoot me questions, ask questions. I will answer as quick as I can, as quick as I see them. A lot of times, sometimes my notifications don't always come through, but when I see them, I will absolutely respond. I'm always open to different perspectives and like a lot of, I love conversation because I like to be enlightened. Um, I'm always seeking to better understand things. And while I might not take on that belief, at least it's good to have a different perspective. Okay. So that's it. I love y'all. Y'all be easy out here. I hope everybody is well and taking care of themselves. And yeah, I will holler at y'all in the next one. Thanks for tuning in.